Good Monday morning. And yeah, it's good. You're here, you're alive, you got air in your lungs. It's good. All right. So we are looking at stars and standings for week 5. We do this, of course, every Monday. Regular feature here. If you know me and you've been watching, you know this is what we do. All right. Starting with the standings. And again, I simplify this compared to what you see on the FPHL website. Um, you know, there's so many columns. So, yep, we have our basic wins, losses, overtime losses, points. That's the main important category. Regulation wins is RW, and then winning percentage. All right, or points percentage, I guess, is more accurate. Okay, so and this is the order of tiebreakers. It's always points first. So that's why we have it highlighted in black. So as we look at the Continental Division, yep, it's still Athens on top, 8-1. Although it's important to note that they only have 4 regulation wins, and that cuts down on the winning percentage. That's why you see such a disparity as far as the point percentage between Athens and Columbus. And in the past, the league has used the points percentage as the primary tiebreaker. So, God forbid anything should happen during the season, that could always come into play. But fortunately, right now, we just got points. So, yep, Athens is 8-1, of course, and Columbus River Dragons 6-0. 5 of those wins are regulation. They are one of only 3 teams in the league to have 5 regulation wins. Everybody's been spending some time in overtime or shootout games, so nobody's immune. All right, the Baton Rouge Zydeco are still hanging on to third place in spite of losing 2 games to Columbus this last weekend. And then, of course, we have the Blue Ridge Bobcats. They swept their weekend, so they jumped up a bit. They're in 4th place. And then Carolina, they only played the 1 game this weekend, and of course that was a heartbreaker if you're a Carolina fan. Losing 1-0 is never an easy loss. I mean, you can hang your head on, well, we didn't play horrible, but still, 1-0 loss, especially when it goes to overtime, that's tough to take. So Carolina is going to be looking for a better week this week ahead. Monroe, that's the MMO, Monroe Moccasins. They are now 3-3-3. So 3's all around. Play that in the lottery and box it. All right. I know. Anyway, and then Motor City. Oh my goodness. No, Motor City's later. Mississippi, 1-6-1, bringing up the rear. Things looking a little tough right now in Biloxi. So we'll see if things can get turned around. Kind of has to happen pretty quick because we've already got a 7-point gap in between Mississippi and Monroe. All right, in the Empire Division, it's the Binghamton Black Bears up on top, 8-1-1. They have the most points of anybody in the league. Of course, they have the most games played of anybody in the league as well. So that kind of helps. But yeah, 5 of their games, regulation wins. And then we have 3 overtime / shootout wins. All right. The Watertown Wolves looking more and more like a serious contender this year. 7-1-1. And it's not fluky. It's not like they're just kind of eking out wins. Well, they are eking out wins, but they're hard-fought games. They're not just squeaking by. They're earning these points. Danbury Hat-Tricks still in 3rd place despite losing to the Wolves. Actually, they've lost the last 3 games against the Wolves now, going back to the previous week. But they are still 3-2-3. It's early. It's too early to hit the panic button in Danbury. There's too much hockey to be played. Hudson Valley. Yep. Your eyes don't deceive you. Hudson Valley has moved up to fourth in the Empire Division. And a nice 2-game sweep will do that for you. And we'll be talking about the Venom a little bit more in just a bit. But yeah, another 3-1 record. Yeah, just 1 point behind Danbury at this point. And so that's if these two teams are close to each other in the standings, that's really going to help that rivalry intensify. It's already a big rivalry. You know, the teams are only 44 miles apart from each other. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting going on forward through the season. Port Huron slips down to fifth, 3-4-1, 9 points. Motor City still looking for answers, still struggling and trying to figure out how to get the puck in the net. 2-6. They are playing better defensively though. And then finally we have the Dashers, which I feel bad for the team because they played their hearts out this weekend, and by the time they got to like midway through the second period against Hudson Valley on Saturday, it just looked like they wanted to raise the white flags. They didn't, but it looked like that's what they wanted to do. The expression on the faces as they sat on the bench, in between shifts, it was tough. It was a tough weekend, but the Dashers, we knew they were going to have some struggles this year. So they're 1-6-1 down at the bottom of the Empire Division. And now we are going to go to our stars. Got 5 stars of the week, plus 4 honorable mentions. And the reason I paused is because I needed to borrow my my magnets off of the other board. All right, so I picked top 5 performers. Not really in any set order here, but you could argue that 2 players really stood out, as you can see by the numbers on the board. But yeah, Jack Bostet, he makes the list. 34 saves in a 60-minute plus shutout. So excellent performance by Bostet. Bostet was already posting great numbers, and then he threw a donut at the Thunderbirds. So yeah, he gets the win. 61-13 was his ice time, and yeah, good season so far for Jack Bostet. For the Hudson Valley Venom, they've got 2 representatives because you can't ignore these numbers, and yeah, these are real. We knew about Dustin Giseau, about the talent that he brings, and what he contributes. So yeah, an amazing weekend. 5 goals, 6 assists. That moves him up to, I think I saw he's now 4th in the league in scoring. But yeah, 11 points on the weekend in 2 games. Just absolutely incredible. And then Mantis Norika, he had 5 goals and 5 assists himself. He's a little bit more of a surprise, but as I spent some time today looking at his previous career, went on Elite Prospects and just looked at everything he's done, uh, he shouldn't have been a surprise. He did admittedly surprise me. I really didn't know much about him coming into the season, and he has proven himself to be a big scoring threat for the Venom. And so now the Venom's got, they've got 3 big offensive weapons, because we'll talk about the third in just a little bit. Making the list also, Tyson Kirkby. He had himself 4 goals on the weekend, including a hat trick on Friday night, plus an assist. He now leads the league in scoring. He's got a slight edge over Garrett Milan. So really good weekend for Tyson Kirkby, 5 points on the weekend. And then for the Bobcats, Danny Martin came back just in time. The Bobcats were looking for an added offensive weapon, and they got it. Martin only put 1 puck in the net himself, but dishing out 5 apples, that is nothing to sneeze at. Obviously, he's only one of 3 players this weekend to get 5 or more assists. So that is definitely worth mentioning. And so, yeah, 6 points on the weekend. Great weekend for Danny Martin and for the Blue Ridge Bobcats on the whole. All right, for our honorable mentions, I'm going to give a thumbs up, if you will, to Anton Brodkin for the Watertown Wolves. Yeah, he didn't have a full 60 minutes played, but he played the majority of the game on Friday. 40, what was it, 47 minutes? 46 minutes. Had some dehydration issues, and that's why he was pulled in the midst of a shutout for Garrett Johnson. And of course, Garrett Johnson completed the shutout. Unfortunately, it's not just the Fed, it's all leagues. If you don't play the entire game, you don't get credit for that shutout. And that's a shame because Brodkin stopped 47 shots on Friday, and then he came in for a spell as Watertown does some load management with Garrett Johnson. Um, Played 11 minutes, saved 9 of 11. So that's his cumulative total 56 or 58 in the save department. That's a 965 save percentage, a 2.1 goals against. And yeah, 57 minutes plus is his total on ice time. All right. The third Hudson Valley Venom player that we're mentioning is David Gaeta. 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. Any other week, he'd probably be up here, but he kind of got overshadowed by a couple of his teammates. But Gaeta, no surprise there. So there we go. You got a 3-headed monster in Hudson Valley with Jusso, Norica, and Gaeta all putting the puck in the net on a regular basis. Also mentioning Connor McAnanima from the Binghamton Black Bears. He pitched a 21 save shutout. Didn't have to be extraordinarily busy, but he made some big saves. And I mean, hey, he got a shutout, so that's definitely worth mentioning. Brodkin had a shutout. You had Bostet with a shutout. Yeah, so yeah, 3 shutouts this weekend. I think we're going to set a record this year in the league. Final mention is the Blue Ridge Hunter Verostic. Just the initial optics aren't the best. They're good, they're solid, but it's not like wow. 45 out of 50 saves. That's a 900 save percentage. All right, that's all right. But 2 wins, and I put him in there because he made the saves he had to make in 2 games with the Seawolves or against the Seawolves, but he also chipped in 3 assists, and one of those assists was a primary assist. It's not uncommon to see a goaltender get an assist that's secondary, but primary assist? That's really something. So that is quite the weekend, and so I had to give him an honorable mention. Hunter Verostek really came up big when the Bobcats needed a big weekend. So there you go. There are our 5 stars of the week, plus a couple honorable mentions I couldn't pass up. There are also several other players that had excellent weekends. Michael Mercurio from the Wolves. You had let's see, I had Salutin and Smirnov, both from the Bobcats. They both posted 5 points. So, yeah, a lot of players had good weekends. But nonetheless, here we are. That's the list for this week. All right, so tomorrow, don't forget, we are on the Flash Audio Network. We're going to be talking a little bit about some various news and notes. I'm going to share a little bit about a conversation that I had with Devin Dobick, the play-by-play announcer for the Dashers. Can't say Danville. This last weekend, I had a great conversation with him. So wanted to share some thoughts from him, as well as some other things that are going on. Is Babin looking at an injury. Looks like maybe. We'll talk about that and a lot of other things tomorrow on the Fed League Flash on the Flash Audio Network. If you don't know where to find the links, it's here on the Facebook page, pinned up at the top. You can find all the links to all the different platforms that we broadcast on right there. All right. Thank you so much for watching and for your support. Appreciate it. Tell a friend we're here on YouTube, Flash Audio Network, and of course on Facebook. I'm Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash, and you guys all have a wonderful week ahead.